All right, welcome back everybody to Phlox'em. It has been quite a minute since I just recorded some of my own gameplay that was not a tournament that I lost. Uh, no, those tournaments have all been really fun. If you haven't caught those, trying to think what all is on there now. We have a 75 SAS floor reversal. We have the Reaper of Archon's Corner tournament, and then the last one I did was the single game best of one adaptive through KFPL qualifiers. Um, all were super fun. I have not quite nailed a win on any of those. I got second in the Reaper of Archon's corner tournament, which was really fun. Lost to Zach Armstrong, who played a fantastic day of games. Man, there's been so much other news in the Keyforge world about that. Outside of just the tournaments and things, lots of good news, lots of divisive news, I guess I'll call it. I didn't quite have a chance to weigh in on that because I was traveling and just been working some really crazy hours. So maybe I'll make another short video just talking through my thoughts on that. But I feel like, there are other voices who have voiced pretty similar opinions to my own. Um, but I'll see about putting something together. But I really just want to get some games in with decks I like. It's been too long since I've just kind of done that, and so we are coming back to my deep dive with Kareem J. Sun lost the fourth. I have, let's see, 3 games left with this deck to get to 100. I'm super excited about that. This will be, I think, my first deck with 100 plays, which is really sad, but it also just kind of shows what I enjoy about Keyforge. I love the discovery. I love new decks. I love playing every deck I have just to try and kind of figure out their personality, see like what they're doing, really just have fun playing kind of some jank and everything. And so I don't have a ton of plays with many decks. I also don't have, I haven't done a whole lot of higher level competitive stuff, which I know it makes sense to practice that many games for that. So that'll come. But again, this is just kind of one of my favorite Call of the Archons decks that I still own. And excited to get to kind of that last 3 games. You could see we're pretty close to 50%, and most of those have been in the competitive bracket. So like I think it's at like a 57 to 40 something. Um, in terms of its record. So it's not a bad deck, especially for a 67 coded deck. It does some really good stuff that can counter, and it really just kind of pulls out those last minute wins fairly often. This is a really tough hand. I really like the Logos. I really don't like seeing this stuff early, especially going against 2 Infernus. So I think we are gonna. Oh man, it's tough. I'm gonna mulligan. I don't love it, but we did get back into a mother, so happy enough about that. We are seeing some other untamed stuff and plenty of sanctum. We did draw back into the glorious few, which against mass mutation I always think is gonna do pretty well. This one doesn't look like it's got crazy creature spam happening. There's no like Kirby's or anything, but plenty of small stuff that I might have a problem dealing with over time. We are just going to go back into Sanctum and try and protect this mother a little bit. So let's just drop Take Hostages, Sequus on the right, and then we're going to pump up the Sequus with some Taunt there and hold on to the Take Hostages, see if they just clear my board anytime soon. Or sorry, the Glorious Few. Let's look at what we're facing more. So we've got the Gateway, we've got Harvest Time, which could definitely hurt if they purge Mothers or some of my Witches. Oh, there's, yeah, Harvest Time right there. So not my favorite to see that. I don't mind getting the Amber there, but it still is just painful. This deck definitely likes the Mothers. Just 1 pip to purge, so not too worried about that. I don't love seeing the Essence Scale, though. That is going to hurt. Fights against the Sequus. Gonna just try and clear the board, huh? Doesn't want that taunt there. Maybe they don't have. I mean, they've got. Oh. Or they want to Stirring Grave their Umbra Fiend. That also makes sense. Kills the Sequus anyways. Okay. Yeah, with that Essence Scale and the Umberfiend now in archives, they're going to be doing some stuff. So I guess we just kind of force them to keep fighting what we got. But not looking great at the moment. I think they do probably kill some of this stuff pretty quick here. Yeah, they're going back into disc. Gonna fight. Hopefully they don't have the second Infernus to purge this Hunting Witch. That would definitely hurt us. I thought I looked for Mark of Dis. Bummer. See if he fights everything off. Yeah. So, I mean, the fight there means they're not going to check. So, it's still not great for me. But the Mark of Dis is gone. They didn't go to check. They still not in check here, so I'm fine just dropping all of these logos artifacts. They don't have like a borrow or anything. Oh, they do have a borrow. Oh well. They'll probably just take one of the libraries, which I think is better than them taking the Anomaly Exploiter, but we'll see. Look over there to steal with a damage pip. Plays a borrow. And reaps with that, or uses that to draw. So we're not stopping this key. Pretty tempted to just go into logos here. Now that they've kind of not built up a board still. Okay, so they are probably going back into... And they could go into shadows and try and just hit something off the top. I don't think I'm too worried about that. They most likely get the autoencoder down because most people, yeah. Autoencoder, the archivist is in their hand, so that's not getting in the archives. Luckily, discards the Cronus. That's kind of interesting. Wonder if this is a nice Untamed turn just to put this back in my deck and see if they'll finally start flooding the board a little bit. They're probably wary of this, so I want to be a little bit careful. But I like this play. Kind of put something down that they really have to deal with in the Witch of the Eye. Since they haven't seen that second Infernus yet, I do have some pretty good value here. Go to Shadows. Place a look over there to steal. At some point, we'll start getting some Amber. Okay, so they are able to kill that. It's probably not worth holding on to this Sanctum anymore. They do still have Gateway, but the mark is gone. They've just had a lot of creature control, which has got to be running out soon, but they also have a lot of archives, so... I guess it hasn't been a ton of creature control. They've just fought a lot, unfortunately. So we're going to drop that. Do I hold it for one more turn? Because if they Gateway, they probably play out some more disc stuff. Let's hold it. This might be risky, but I think, especially against Infernus, I really want that non-Amber Pit value. Okay, and we're fine going into some logo stuff here. We do have the Scrambler Storm, which I think... it doesn't guarantee me a key because they have Infernus. But it kind of forces that Infernus out, I think. So might be worth playing here. Let's go to Logos. We'll draw first. Get the Mother. Let's Psychic Bug. Yeah, so they do have the Infernus and the Gateway here. We can stop the Gateway, which is pretty big. But don't stop the Bone Saw. Stops the Pandemonium too. So they are going to stop the Forge, unfortunately. But I think this is still worth it. Just going to hit here and hit him again. And then we will Scrambler Storm. They're going to purge the Scrambler Storm, which doesn't feel great. But we are stopping a much bigger turn with that Scrambler Storm, so... And then no Gateway too is pretty big. Discards the Pandemonium. Alright, I'm fine with seeing that. Since we know we have the Gateway, coming. I'll probably just try and keep reaping for a check. Just kind of deal with their board. Scramble Storm and Lost in the Woods makes sense. Blows it up with Essence Scale, but doesn't play Bonesaw. Just discarded the Bonesaw. Held the Gateway, but I feel like they have so much archives. So, just want to go to check here with Logos, I think. Obviously, we don't know what's in their archives because Psychic Bug doesn't work that way, but go ahead and see what's in their hand. We still have Gateway, Lights Out, Second Infernus, so they've already cycled back through. Yeah, so we're just going to try and build up a decent follow-up turn. But, I mean, this turn is going to be rough. I think they are still probably being pretty careful of that Glorious Few, so I'm kind of glad we kept that. I think it slows them down a little bit. Go Shadows. I think they had both look over theirs, so definitely need to start gaining more Amber than I am at the moment. Just kind of hard to do because I've just been waiting for that Gateway to come down. That's definitely restricting me here. And they just keep building that archives because they kind of know they have me. Lights Out, Ezekiel, and the Mother. So Raiding Knight takes them off check, and I kind of just get some of the Sanctum stuff out. Do I have much Sanctum to draw back into? I still do. This is not going well. This is not a game I'm expecting to win, so let's just kind of play a little bit faster here to kind of not troll my opponent too much. Right there, and then just a whole turn just playing this does not seem great. Because most likely I end up playing the EP next turn anyways, so not great, but you know, just gonna try and do the best plays I can, given the matchup. Yeah, so we see this, see the Gateway. Furnace will purge. Probably that Glorious Few and something else, since they only need one pip to take me off check. Yeah, Psychic Bug. Harvest Time's their Miasma Bomb. Discards Mark of Dis. That is an interesting play. Wonder why they do that. So since we have the tax with the Murmook, we're gonna go Logos here. Draw. Ooh, got the phase shift too. Wonder if it's actually worth throwing Bonesaw back into the deck or just tapping it. Let's just tap it for now. They have the Essence Scale, but they've gone Dis so many times. I don't think it matters too much anyways there. See if we can get a key off the key charge, but I don't have much other Amber gain here, so... And this Logos turn is going to be pretty rough since they're finally taking their archives. But they don't have, like, anything that scary in Logos, so, like, I do have to deal with this Tirado. There's not, like, a ton of Amber pips or anything, so yeah, they're just going to discard half of this anyways. Okay, so for Untamed, it looks like it's probably more worth it to keep out the mother on this turn, which means I'd be playing these two, but I can just clear their board. Yeah, because if we do that, we get the cycle anyways. So we'll do Murmook, which use this to kill the Cronus. Play Lost in the Woods. Oh, I guess I won't quite cycle. Oh, yeah. A one off from cycling because of the mother. Bummer. But they have at least one Infernus. Oh, we don't know what's in the archives. Both Infernus, I think. Not just one. I'm sure they found some steel here, but we might actually be able to steal back. Discard the bow because I don't have enough amber. Sorry. Sorry, opponent. Discard Splinter. Yeah, and they've got the Archivist in the archive now. They're not even really concerned about gaining amber at this point. They're just going. Steals. Doesn't play any creatures. And just keeps going. Plays one creature. Yeah, and 11 cards in archive. With the Archivist, we're pretty much done here, so doesn't really matter a whole lot. We'll hold on to this, see if we can draw through into something good. And just see if they can just end this quickly. End the pain. Recycle back into borrow, so there goes my last artifact. Destroys mother with it, makes sense. Oh, I didn't see they have the one last job too. This is definitely a scary deck. I mean, they're going to have most of their deck in archives pretty soon here. We're just going to go Logos and kind of keep flooding, trying to get creatures on the board, but not really going to matter too much, I don't think. Cooperative Hunting, again, doesn't matter too much, and we're just going to discard the EP because I need to cycle. Okay, so we have a chance at forging a key. If we can get them to play at least 3 creatures this turn. Probably not going to happen. We'll see. Got the QMX, got the Cronus, got the Titan Engineer. All right, so we have a chance at key charging. Playing a lot of creatures. That is fine with me. Glorious Few is already gone, so they're not worried about that anymore. Still more worth it to them to just archive whatever they need. This is pretty brutal at this point, so kind of just want them to gain amber. Hit the Brain Eater with Entropic Swirl, so that's gaining them some amber. Okay, gonna go into Untamed. We will steal some. And then we'll play the Murmook on the left, Lost in the Woods, these two, and this guy and this guy. Left, right, key charge. You know, it's something. And now they kind of have to deal with these Witch of the Eyes. Not that that's been much of a problem for them. I'd be shocked if they don't have Gateway and Mark of Dis. So the Mark of Dis doesn't hurt too much. We've got some cards in both. I mean, everything hurts at this point. But I did get a key. That's the important thing. Okay, lights out on both of those witches. Did they purge? Hunting Witch isn't gone, so that might have been like a bad decision for them, but they just go to check here. Play Untamed. which will kind of force them to deal with this again. But I mean, now they have 18 cards in archive, so it's definitely about done. Ransack to steal one more, so one more amber and it's over anyways. We'll hold them off for one. Just kind of pretend we're doing something important. Okay, and that will be game because I have no amber control. Can't reap anyways. Good Witch of the Eye tech there. Oh, come on, just kill him. Oh, we get to do some fun stuff here. We'll phase shift in my Ezekiel. Kill the Cronus. Windbolt. And didn't draw another Logos card anyways. Just end it. Come on. We're so close. Oh, here comes the gateway into all of the creatures. That's all right. We'll let them have it. They've crafted 22 cards in archives. I'm just going to let them have this turn. Yeah. Lock me into Untamed. Just gonna put that in now because it's about over. Hope my dog didn't just lay on top of all of my Keyforge cards that I've been putting out for sorting. Okay, so no artifact control, definitely hurting against the mass mutation decks. They had so much steal, and they got the autoencoder early, and then they had that early diss that kind of kept me off key, that first key for a while, and I think it, yeah, just kind of spiraled from there. So not mad at all. That's a tough game for this to win. Looks like we're going back into either MM or DT, most likely mass mutation, because that is what people are really liking playing now, which is fine. It's a fun set. Okay, so we got Deus Silas. We've got Kerzap, Bouncing Deathquark, Standardized Testing, so I'm not keeping a board. They also have Niflkong. All right. Keep this. Do they have artifact control outside of Niflkong? They do not have Reclaimed. I don't think Mass Mutation Saurian has artifact control, and I don't think Logos does either. So, at least Anomaly Exploiter has a chance. Grab a piece of Deus Silas and does not discard it. That means my mother is probably dying to Deus Silas this turn, but Anomaly Exploiter gives me a chance at killing it. If I can get some damage on it. But no amber for it to capture is fine with me. I'm sure they have plenty of other ways of dealing with the mother. Okay, so the archive with Eclectic Inquiry. Bouncing Deathquark. Okay, so that's good to see that one gone. And the standardized. Because they're going to play a daughter out. Well, can't kill the daughter, unfortunately, even though we do have the ready fight. So, just going to gain some amber. We are going to play Take Hostages. We'll do Raiding Knight to capture. And then we're going to get this guy on the right. So, just some small things there. Playing Ezekiel on the left here, and then Champion Raphael on the right, so that I actually have a space for the taunt later on, especially seeing some of their more targeted removal go. That it is just some of the small things with this deck that you want to be careful of making sure you always have a way to kind of protect your Logos and Untamed creatures using your Sanctum. Going in Tames, we probably see, well, I guess they didn't take a Niflkong. Okay, so they got an enhanced Niffle Ape. It is not bad with the Niflkong. Got the Unia, but we can take care of some stuff with the Anomaly Exploiter, so getting some good value there. They've got the Wild Spirit. Okay, so we're going back into Logos here. Get our first library down, get a mother back down, and then we'll twin bolt the daughter and the Unia, and then we'll anomaly exploiter to blow up that Unia. Unoya? I don't know how you say that one. Crazy cat dragon. Or what is that? I'm sure there's a fantasy name for that. Second It's Coming comes. Oh, I guess that first It's Coming was probably their Untamed one, wasn't it? That makes more sense. Yeah, so grab one piece of Deus Illis and then grab the other. So hopefully that means less likely for Kong to make an appearance anytime soon. They hit the Raiding Knight for 5. Raiding Knight has 2 armor, so it doesn't actually kill it. Which means I have a small chance of killing Deus Illis this turn. But I think the Untamed might be better, or even just Sanctum. Just to actually get some Amber here. We go Sanctum. Gonna drop a Nafil on the right. Just gonna put this here, and then Sequus on there. Do I want to fight anything here, or do I just gain Amber? I maybe should have waited on the Protect the Weak if I was going to just fight into Deus Illis. I do have this. Yeah. It's going to make him fight me. I think he has to use that Deus Illis for creature control, so we got both Lost in the Woods now. Which might be worth keeping one of those for if Kong comes down, but I think if I can shuffle this back into their deck, they get pretty clogged pretty fast since both its comings are gone. Okay, so they dump 1 Amber off Deus Illis. I do have armor in a lot of places, so it doesn't do a ton of damage. Theros Centurion fights the taunted Sergeant. I think that I'm really okay with a lot of this. Oof, actually get the Sacrosaurus with a Saurian Egg. That's a little rough. Puts it into play though, right? So I don't think they get the, yeah, they don't get the play effect, so Mother is safe for 1 more turn, but they do kill that Nafil, so Sanctum is falling fast. I think Logos is a pretty solid turn here. We get to EP. My mother's still alive. I can kill off at least one of these. What do we Wild Wormhole into? Hate to hit the key charge, but oof. Okay. That is unfortunate. Those wards are not going to be the easiest to deal with. So we probably just try to hit something else for now. Draw. Go ahead and... Nope. EP first. Reap. Play the Brain Eater. Ah, there it is. Of course. And we're just going to kill this big Sacrosaurus for now. Because we got the cooperative, so we can actually ping those wards off. That's pretty big. I mean, there's not much reason for them to not go back into Saurian here. I get like 4 reaps and stuff, so... And they do the damage with Deus Illis, which still doesn't quite kill the mother, so if they really want that mother dead. Yeah, so fights with Thero to kill the Raiding Knight, so they get some of their Amber back, which is fine, because if we're going to do the Lost in the Woods like next turn anyways. And just reaps with everything else. Okay. So they're at 9. Nothing we can really do about that. So I wonder if it's actually worth forcing Logos 1 more turn. Because I can actually kill this now that it's fought. I can use this to kill something. And I get a draw in the Psychic Bug. So let's actually go Logos. So, information first. Professor Torado, Niffle Ape, Autoencoder, Sacrobot, Reverse Time, and Serum. So they're going Logos next turn. Let's draw. Okay, so that's fine. That just makes our Untamed turn a little bit better. We are going to blow up this Thero. Can they stop me? Only if that Sacrobot draws something, which means I need to kill the Faust. Which is unfortunate, so I don't get the draw off of the Brain Eater, but I think that's still the better play. If they want to go Logos here, they are seeding the key, and then I do have a really nice Untamed follow-up for kind of whatever they put down, but they are going to gain so much Amber. They play the Reverse Time. Let's see if one of the Niflkong, all of Niflkong, so they have to play both It's Coming if they want that back. Discard Standardized to the Autoencoder, play some of that stuff. Okay. Only problem is there's no Murmook, so we're not stopping this key. That is kind of the big issue. But I would have to... Yeah, I'm not stopping it no matter what. So we're just going to do the Untamed turn here. Got to think through my sequencing. Going to play that on the right, that on the right, that on the right. Do this for 6 so we can ping 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll just ping the ward there. Now the question is, do I play both of these? So we're definitely going to do one for the Niffle Ape and the Psychic Bug. We'll hit Dave Silas and the Sacrobot. Oh, it puts me in check. I think shuffling both of those two back in is actually the right play. Or maybe it's these two. Let's do that. I think I like this. It keeps that witch alive. They definitely don't want to do Saurian again, I think. So let's do Flume for sure. Do they have Troop Call? No, so I think we're fine keeping that there. Let's do that. You know, gets me back in check. Forces them to have to deal with the Witch of the Eye. And with that Reverse Time, I think their Untamed turn probably still not too bad, but not as good as it maybe could have been, since we know Niflkong isn't coming down. Yeah, I guess if I wasn't killing the Niffle Ape no matter what, then this doesn't matter, or it didn't matter because they could fight past the taunt anyways. Okay, so Yunya comes back down. Oh, does not kill the Witch of the Eye. Are you sure? You sure that's what you want to do? Okay. I mean, not going to complain about that at all. Do I just key charge here? Because I get 1, 2, and then I can just tap all those. Yeah. Feels pretty great. With this for key charge, we'll go ahead and just drop that, forge a key, and then keep going into... Problem is we still have a lot of Untamed left to draw into, and it's lower value, which I think is one of the tough things to decide with this deck. It's very tempting to Lost in the Woods your Untamed back into your deck because they don't have as much like sit on the board value as some of the other cards, or, well, really, your Sanctum ends up having Amber captured on it, and your Logos is tons of value if it stays on the board. So it's the lowest value. Your Witch of the Eyes hardly ever survive. Hunting Witch hardly ever survives. But at the end of cycle, you just end up with a lot of Untamed you don't necessarily want to see, especially if you don't have like the Hunting Witch for value. We're getting a free Untamed turn again here. No, they're going to Exalt and then kill. Yeah. So probably means we're doing a Logos turn because we can phase shift in something. Probably just this Inafio for some creature protection. Stop action cards. What do I draw into? I guess I draw first, huh? See if I can get the Glorious Few. I don't have any creatures to play with Logos, unfortunately, but I'm not doing any damage. Is that the right call? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we draw. Nope. Draw first. Okay. Ooh, they did play 3 creatures, right? There's nothing stopping me from doing that. So, I like the Scrambler Storm. I like Phase Shift into Life Web. Unia wards itself, right? No, it just heals. So we saw them. Did they discard Deus? No. So they're searching for it. So let's slow down their Saurian turn. I think it's this one. I don't love this play because it means I'm drawing less, but we know we're drawing into Sanctum and Untamed at this point. No Glorious Few yet is pretty brutal, but especially since Deus could still come down, I don't think it would matter. I almost want to just play Logos again here and just kind of build these turns. Discards BDQ. If any of his stuff was damaged, I'd say that the Logos turn is more worth it, but Sanctum basically puts the pressure on. Like they have to stop the check here. Because I'm at check even with the Faust right now. This can always just reap and capture. We'll see if they play the Deus. If so, things get a little dicey. Going back into Saurians, we'll probably have Deus here. Takes the archives. Yep. Kills the Hunting Witch. Question is, do they also fight the Inafio? There's just like the tiniest chance in Logos that I draw into something that will do some damage, but yeah, it doesn't matter there because of the ward. So Glorious Few and then fight into Faust. If this doesn't die. No, it dies. Okay. So the trick is they're not in check. So they have one more. 10. Oh, they are in check because of the mutagenic serum. So at the moment, this puts me in check, but I do not stop their key because that's 6. So it's got to be the Untamed turn, which does get us Amber. Just seems unlikely to close it out because they're going to be able to gain so much Amber, which means I'll basically have to draw into key charge. But that's all we got. So gotta stop the key here with the Untamed. Don't quite get into check and don't have not the draw we were looking for. So probably about done. Delicious Reaps to deal 2 to everything, and then I assume they just kill the Witch of the Eye, Reap with everything else. I guess Reaps are basically the same as killing these. It's technically better for them to kill these in case I have key charge. So what they're doing right now is actually super risky. Except that I don't have key charge. But they don't know that, so yeah, don't think that was necessarily the best play. And actually, unfortunately, slightly off with the Sanctum capture. So we have to go Logos and draw something. Got 2 draws. Basically has to be EP, Phase Shift, or, well, Phase Shift and Key Charge. Right? Because I can't, that's all I have in the discard is that. Can't stop the key there. So yeah, it's got to be Logos. Psychic Bug. Draw. Draw. Didn't get it. Bummer. Okay, well. GG. Yeah, so that one, unfortunately, was just, I mean, I had very bad odds of actually drawing what I needed there, even with the redraw, but because they didn't kill this Untamed board, I had a chance of winning, even through the Faust. I think I would have been able to get to enough Amber, but didn't quite do it. All right. So 55, 44, 99 games. It is time for the last game with Kareem on this deep dive. Looks like we're going against Beowulf. Beowulf, I'm assuming, is the intention there. I still really like this deck. I know it's not super competitive. Oof. It's pretty tough not to keep, right? What are we going against? Whoa. Double TMTP. I just don't have actually a great start with this, but I guess which of the eye? Their Logos doesn't look super scary to me. It's doing some good stuff, and it's got some creatures that are hard for me to deal with, except for the Lost in the Woods, like Titan Guardian. Invidious I have to be careful of, and then the Team TPs I have to be careful of. We're going Tamed, Hunting Witch of the Eye, Urmuk, and we are going to hold the Life Web, especially for the Hysteria. Hysteria play could very easily trigger a Life Web. Basically just lucky first turn, pushing their creature control right off the bat, which they do not have a ton of. They've got Draining Touch. Okay. I mean, we just reap with this, right? They don't have Ronnie. No Ronnie. So we're okay going to 7, I think. Do I need to? Nah, there's no reason to give him that Amber. Evil Eye is annoying, but we're just going to go Logos. Get this guy down on the right, which does give me the Amber because of the Hunting Witch, so definitely want to hold it off there. Okay, got some good follow-ups. Got the Scrambler Storm. Don't think they have Amber control. They got an Furnace. Fights the Hunting Witch. I think we're forging this key, which feels pretty good. Play 2 creatures. Didn't get that last one. But we do get the key there, which I think is a pretty big deal against this deck. I think it's worth it to fight into one of these before they get the value out of it. So we're going to go Logos. Kind of want to hold on to the Scrambler Storm. So we're going to just EP here to kind of take that off while I have 0 Amber. Let's fight there to draw. Is it worth... They're just going to go Logos if I Scrambler Storm here. I don't like that option either, though. Let's make them work for killing the Witch. We're going to hold Scrambler Storm because I think, aside from Infernus, they don't have Amber control outside of actions. Not that the Infernus can't hurt, but if we see that go, then Scrambler Storm is basically a free key cheat, or basically access key cheat. If I'm reading this right. So let's see, trust no one. They could collar a Murmook, so I actually need to be kind of careful of that. Feel pretty good about the Sanctum turn, though. Except that I can't really kill anything. It's all elusive. But I do get some decent Amber. Or we could go Untamed and Life Web them twice. Because they just played 3 creatures. That actually feels pretty good. Sorry, bro. That puts me to 7. Do I just discard a Lost in the Woods here? No. It's worth going against those. So we are going to shuffle these 2 and then against those 2. Don't love it, but I do think this lets me forge past TMTP now. Unless they have Hugger Mugger. Hugger Mugger takes me off. But if they do, the Scrambler Storm follow-up. And they're on 0 Amber, so should be sitting on a pretty big dis turn, so they could dis Hysteria. Go Shadows. Just gonna get some of that Amber stolen back, which maybe I should have thought that through. If they're just gonna steal 2, then the Life Web was basically, I guess it was still 1 Amber. But the big question is if they have the Hugger Mugger or not, because the J Vinda could have stolen. They played Trust No One already, so that's the only thing. And then the question is, do they kill the Witch of the Eye? Actions to kill it with a Whisper, that's fine. Actions to damage the Mac the Knife. Okay, so we do forge through that. Jeez. This is where it just kind of comes together a little bit. Sanctums. We are going to Glorious Few. That. I still don't want to fight that Sanctum, or the Titan Guardian. Okay, so seems like it pairs up well against Worlds Collide. This is not, aside from the awesome name of Laser, anything named Laser is pretty fun. I think this is a pretty decent matchup for me. It's very dependent on kind of that Logos board or Dis board, and I feel like they haven't seen much of the Dis yet, or they're just holding it. But the Lost in the Woods against like the Titan Guardians and stuff can just really do a lot of damage, really slow them down. I think we also just kind of got a little bit lucky being able to play around the too much to protects. Okay, so they are going to Obsidian Forge. Ooh, their whole board. Probably to Hysteria. So Infernus, Hysteria, Infernus. I do have 4 pips, 5 pips. So, yep. Okay, that's fair. I've had some really good turns, so understandable that they're getting this. Hysteria, Infernus for 2 more. More of the Untamed stuff. So, Key Charge could be pretty tough at this point. Just gonna drop some Sanctum stuff down. Nice. So now at this point, we probably hold. Well, I promise. Scrambler Storm does not work against Hugger Mugger. I definitely missed that earlier. So I need to get to 7 and then Scrambler Storm. Especially now that Infernus is gone and they still have the Evil Eyes. So I guess Scrambler Storm gets around the Evil Eyes. Yeah, I think if we can get to 7 with the Scrambler Storm, that should be game. Might not be the easiest thing. I might just need to take a turn to reap with these guys. But considering they're on 2 Amber, I think we got this. Just got some logo stuff coming down. Group Think Tank is something, but I don't think I'm super worried about it. They don't have a lot of that incremental amber control, so really threatening check turn after turn should be all I need to do. This Inspector could get rough if they purge the right thing, but I do need to be careful. Like, too much to protect. There's still one live. So I don't want to go too high. So I have to be careful of not playing too much amber. Yeah. Hit the Wild Wormhole. Which means I am now 1 amber off from where I would like to be with the Scrambler Storm. Just make sure Hugger Mugger, yeah, discards an Umbra. That's actually relevant. If those can come down and stay down, that could really hurt me. We're just gonna get some cycle going here. Twin Bolt, I believe, because Hugger Mugger actually steals too. It will steal and capture. Do I wait 1 more turn then? I think I do. I think that should be a sure thing if I hit it. So if I can reap with Mother this turn and then Scrambler Storm Twin Bolt. Unless I'm missing something. Furnace is in the discard. They haven't cycled yet. They are probably going to reap and then blow up my board. Which does not hit the Mother, but it does kill these and puts them in check, which I think I'm fine with. Oh, Replicator. Such a weird card, but it doesn't matter because they just... Oh no, it does capture it from me. That is the problem. So I could either try to draw one more, or I can just tax him here. Let's go untamed. We'll do Witch of the Eye, Marmook, Marmook. 4 damage here. Because they're both damaged already, so that just keeps the Hapsis from getting value, and we do have one more Amber Pip. So if you missed it, the Replicator is just such a weird card. It triggers the action or the Reap ability on another card in play. So if it's one of my cards, it triggers it on that creature. So like if it's saying that creature captures one, that's what happens. Dang it. How did they... Oh, the collar. Yeah. So I don't actually have any Amber Pips left in Untamed, but I could... What does that actually get me? Not much. What do I bring back? Phase Shift? Phase Shift feels pretty good. They're still not forging, so I think Untamed is the call here regardless. Because I can't kill the Invidious right now. But I do just get to check. Which forces the Hugger Mugger. Should I just fight here? Let's just leave it at 6. Because then if they do... I'm probably like way overthinking this game. Just need to close it out, but... Harbinger is not bad. If they're going to pop that with Obsidian Forge, then they just kill it either way. Doesn't matter what they steal with Invidious. So they're probably evil-eyeing me here. Oh no, see this is... That's why I should have gone to 7. But if I can go to 8 this turn, then that is enough, right? I mean, with the Scrambler Storm. Oh, let's hope I'm not doing all of my math wrong. I can kill the Invidious too, so I don't have to worry about second Marmook. Okay, so Scrambler Storm, play this. So they do have Hugger Mugger. They don't have the TMTP, but that does get rid of Evil Eye. Just gonna hit those two. We'll pop this one just for good measure. And we can actually take them off check. That's brutal. Okay, so no actions for, or yeah, no action cards for them. Should be game. They can Invidious again, but that just gets them this, and that has 2 Amber on it, so that's not super good for them anyways. Even with the second Evil Eye, which I don't think they've played yet. Yeah, it still wouldn't quite stop the key with the 1 Marmook. Yeah, discards it. GG. All right. 100 games. 56 and 44. good chunk of that is in the competitive queue. Some of that has definitely been all kinds of other random things, different events like SaskCap and stuff. Um, but that's a pretty big accomplishment for me. Like I said, I like playing all of my decks. I don't normally get to play that many with any one deck, especially right now. I'm playing so few games anyways. Um, and this is I just don't have much Call of the Archons at all, so kind of having one that is like really fun, really tricky. It's not the best stats, but definitely punches above. Um, can really do a lot. Like we saw that last game. I got some really lucky plays with the like Witch of the Eye into Life Web, which against a deck that isn't holding too much to protect can be really brutal. Just a really fun kind of, they all really synergize together. There's a pretty definite game plan of like keeping your opponent's creature count low until you're ready to Glorious Few, and then kind of using logos to really set up the other two houses with like a lot of kind of piling up your hand and everything. And then the Untamed trying to do bursting creature control. Like I I have Murmuk as one of the like on the thumbnail because I think it's probably I think it's one of the most important cards in the deck. Without that Murmuk in Untamed specifically, I think this deck loses so many more games because you will get stuck having to go into Untamed just to even like get cards out of your hand, and being able to keep them off key for a turn when doing that is essential, because the other two houses we've seen has like that Professor Principle, we have Take Hostages, we have Raiding Knight, we have Sequus, we have Terms of Redress. There are ways in all the other houses to kind of just slow them down, but having that in Untamed is just really good. It's got the key charge that those last games it didn't really come into play as a huge deal, but that has won me a lot of games that I should have lost by having that key charge. Lost in the Woods is probably one of the trickier cards, knowing which cards to hit with it, when to play it. In general, though, you saw me like holding a lot of cards for a while, and I think that's just because there are a lot of cards that your opponent like should play around to an extent, not like hugely. Um, Glorious Few is probably the biggest one, but Life Web 2 is a very easy one to like ignore. And this deck, more than any other deck I've played Life Web in, really gets value out of it. So that's pretty fun. The Sanctum again is just doing so much kind of like board presence without having like a really wide board. It's got big creatures, lots of taunt with the Protect the Weaks. You can kind of turn other things into taunt creatures, which is super nice because you have a lot of creatures you want to protect, right? Like the Mothers, the Psychic Bug, Witch of the Eye, Hunting Witch, all of those you want to keep protected. Um, the Anomaly Exploiter, I think, makes this number way bigger than, like, it should be a lot bigger than this just because of that. And obviously, in some games we saw, it gets borrowed and I don't get to use it. Um, but the deck just makes such good use out of that. So I think, yeah, very fun, very solid, kind of middling but interesting, chessy kind of Call of the Archons deck. And really excited to have this be my first deck with 100 plays. It's not like what I would call my signature deck or anything, but it is kind of one of those like standbys I've had for a really long time. So I feel like it kind of deserved this. So that is deep dive number one in the books. None of the other decks that I'm going to do this with are anywhere near 100 games, so we'll see how many of them I end up recording, but I am excited to kind of get back into some of these regular recordings, just doing a little bit more of the fun stuff I want to do. I don't have time to really craft any alliance decks, so I probably won't do hardly any of that. It's also like not something I'm necessarily interested in, but you know, I love just kind of the fun, quirky, seeing what I can do, seeing how high up I can win with bad decks. So that's what I want to keep doing, and just hoping to also look at a lot of strategy and stuff along the way. So hope you all enjoyed this deep dive. I'm excited to keep going. Next week will be, or next one of these, we'll see if it's next week. We're diving into AOA, which will be probably one of the most fun decks I own. Probably will lose more than this one did, but it's going to be a blast. So really excited to get into that. But yeah, we will see you next time on Phlox'em. Thanks for watching.